Hi everyone, my name is Arnika. I'm an early childhood educator, and today I'm going to be sharing with you positive child guidance technique. And the topic we're going to be talking about today is overparenting. So before I start, I do have to tell you, I apologize if I offend anybody. It is not my intention, and I myself was guilty of that too. All right, it's a very important topic, and I really do need to touch on it. So, if you feel offended, I am so sorry. It's not my intention, and I actually have note right here next to me to make sure I don't miss anything. So, overparenting is usually a terminology refer to parents' over involvement. Or just micromanagement of a child's day-to-day lives. Usually they're coming from a position of love. They just want to make sure that the child is making all those good choices. They want to protect a child from any physical or emotional harm. They want to prevent a child sometimes from suffering the consequence of the behavior. Now, overparenting can have a very negative effect on a child. Um, one of those would be you might hinder your child's overall development, their ability to make and sustain friendship, their emotional intelligence and resiliency, as well as their problem solving and life skills. All those are very important for your child later in life to be an independent person. It really hinders that. And also the psychologist has found and research has done to show that a lot of young adults suffer a lot from stress, anxiety, and depression are coming from these kind of homes. So it is very important, something that I do have to stress on. As an early childhood educator, I have seen a lot of parents who are doing it, and with help, then we would tell them that, you know what, we need to ease off, step back, and sometimes we just need to stop ourselves. Okay, now here are the 7 telltale signs of overparenting. All right, so once again, I'm not here to offend anybody. I was guilty of it when I was younger, raising my son. All right, so first would be power struggle. So if you find yourself often in a power struggle relationship with your child, it might mean that you're probably overparenting. What I mean by that is you're not allowing your child to pick the shoes that they want to put on, clothes that they want to put on, or style their hair a certain way. That would be overparenting too. All right, you need to let your child to make those choices for themselves and just let them be. And the other one is struggle to allow them to make, once again, choices, because you always assume that your way is the right way and best way, and you're not allowing them to explore new ideas and opportunity. So if next time your son say or your child say, Mom, I want to put orange juice in my cereal, what your answer gonna be? Well, sure. You just have to make sure that the cereal, the bowl is small, okay? Because they might not like it. But once again, you're allowing the child to try new things so they can experience them. Don't take those opportunity away from them. All right. And the other one is you cannot stand to see your child fail. So often you will try to rescue them before it happens. But what you are doing is you're not allowing your child to learn from their own mistakes. They need opportunity like this to sort of regulate their emotions and problem solve. It is a process of being resilient, how to bounce back when they fail and come back up. All right, so those things are very important. And the other one is you worrying about things that other parents do not. Once again, that usually comes into a position of love. You just think that, you don't want your child to be hurt and whatnot. But unfortunately, what you are also doing is you're overprotecting your child. You need to think of your child as smart and competent individuals. If you always undermine your child would not be able to become independent and successful. Always allow your child to try. So something that I always do is, some people find me a little crazy, is if I have a 2 years old wanting to climb a jungle gym, and my first thing is I would never say no. I would say yes. If they ask me, Arnika, can I climb? I would say yes, sure, of course. But what I will do is I will stand an arm's reach away from them just to catch them when they fall. But my no is not my first word. I would say, sure, go ahead and try and let me know when you need help. So I'll be there to catch them when they're falling, holding on to their bum and whatnot. So always allow your child to try. Don't ever undermine them. all right, because that will help them, that will really boost up their ego too. They're like, oh, I can, instead of, I cannot because my mom say I cannot. I cannot do this, how can I do that? So once again, you need to give them that little chance to just try new things, all right? And the other one is arguing with other adults, such as teachers and coaches, over the rules and or how they treat your child. Now, this is not very healthy. It's because we live in a very big world out there. You need to give your child opportunity to be able to adapt to different environment and learn new rules. Now, given if the place is free of any abuse. Now, abuse, I'm talking about physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, and sexual abuse. So if all those abuse does exist, then yes, you do need to talk to the teacher or coach or go to someone higher up. If not, I will urge you just to sit back and help your child to problem solve. All right, so if they're having a fight in school, or if you think that the teacher is being unfair, well, talk to your child and see how you can problem solve together. And I have a son who is 11 years old, and I have been through it. And sometimes it's really heart-wrenching because he's telling me his side of the story, and I'm like, oh my goodness, my son is being bullied, it's not being fair. Till I talk to another child, and I realize, oh, it's just a difference of perspective, and it did not really happen the way it is. And then a week later, they're friends again. So what I'm trying to say is, let your child experience different environments and different rules as long as it's free of abuse, because the world is a big place. When your child enters the world, you're not going to be able to always follow child around and be there to protect him. All right. So the other one would be struggle to identify age-appropriate expectations. So these, I have two type of parents. One is parents who have high expectations, and they need to manage their child's free time to make sure that it's filled with activity and make sure it's productive. The other one is parents who have low expectations, who just think that the child cannot do anything by themselves without them. All right, so that's not healthy either. You're really undermining a child sometimes, and over involvement is not healthy too, because you're not allowing a child to identify themselves as in what they want to do. So last one would be not a lot of responsibility. Now, a child needs to have some sort of responsibility to become a mature adult. So you want them to be independent also. So those life learning skills is very essential. So ask them to wash the dishes, take the trash out, make their bed, whatever they're capable of doing, you should slowly give those tasks back to them. And you need to explain to them why. All right, so those are very useful. Now, I hope I cover almost everything. Let me just look at my notes over here. All right, so I actually have a graph here to illustrate to you guys how overparenting look like and why we should stop overparenting. So I always explain to my parents that if you are not overparenting your child, it will look like this. So here's your little kid, and then he's able to reach all those little milestones. First, it would be with your assistant, and later on would be all by himself without your assistant. So his foundation is solid. He has a lot of reference point to look back to. So when he's up in higher steps, he would say, oh, I know I can because I have done it by himself. So he has a sense of pride and also a very healthy self-ego and self-esteem, because he knows he has done it in the past in order to reach for the top. Children in this type of situation are usually very resilient. They have very strong problem-solving skills. Now, versus over here where you have parents who are involved. So what happened here, same thing. You have a child who's able to reach those milestones with the help of a parent. Now, I put the parent right here. Reason being is because now his success, it becomes very wobbly. Why? Because the parent. If I X the parents out of the equation, it will topple over. All right? So it is very important to let go, and build a solid foundation for your child. So when he look back, he understands that I done it myself. I did it and I can do it again. I don't need anyone to help me, that sort of thing. Now, the last one is when a parent is overly involved and does everything for a child. So when you send a child out, in the world out there. He's really just need to be a Superman and climbing that wall over to the top. Well, let's just hope that he's Superman. So basically, if I were to wrap it up, that's why overparenting it is a very serious topic. It is very important. That's why I need to talk about it. If you are overparenting, just so you don't experience any anxiety, it is not a healthy thing. A child needs the freedom to explore new ideas, new opportunity, and you need to be their cheerleader and let them do that, and just to help them when they fail. And you have to welcome all those failures. All failures could be successful failure if you let them be. Just let them know that you are their greatest cheerleader. And the other thing is, when you are parenting, you have to have a little self-check. What is it that you want your child to achieve later on in life? What is it that you want your child to become when you're not around? What kind of life you want your child to have? You always have to think of it this way. When you X yourself out from the equation, how he is gonna survive. You want your child to be successful, independent, able to bounce from struggle after struggle, then you must teach your child how to be independent, how to be resilient, learning how to fall and bounce back up. And overparenting unfortunately hinders all that. So if you can just have a little self-check, so every time when you do something for your child, you need to step back. Am I doing something for myself, or am I something through a child? So it's something that I always say to my parents is this: overparenting really comes down to three things. All right, so first is, are you doing something for your child that your child can do for themselves? Are you doing something? Two, are you doing something for the child that child can almost do for themselves? And three is, are you doing something for the child based on your need? So all those are overparenting. So if you're doing one of those three, please stop yourself and let your child try. Just do things for themselves. Your child might be upset at first, might have a little tantrum at first. Welcome that. It is okay. It's just because they're so used to having you there, they're relying on you to be successful. But you know that you're coming from a position of tough love, that you need to X yourself out from the equation so they would have a very solid platform to stand on when they get older. All right, so I hope this makes sense, and I hope I did not offend anybody. It is a very tough topic. It is not easy for me to pass this message through, so that's why I have a note right here so I don't miss anything, and I try to be as politically correct as I could. But I love all of you. I just hope that your child, when they get older, they're gonna be successful, they're gonna be resilient, they're gonna be responsible adult, because there's one thing that lacks in this world. It is those characters. All right, take care.